Frozen bus yard sword fights. The parking lot housed about 40 county buses, parked in long rows on either side, and framed by deep woods. The lot stretched back about 100 yards. The parking lot was a moon of cratered dirt, so that when you hopped on a bus on its way to park, to catch a ride to the back of the parking lot, you bounced up and down the whole way there. Because of the craters, which filled the lot edge to edge, the rainwater created almost permanent ponds that never fully evaporated except in the driest of seasons. On some rare nights, between the two rows of buses, sat an enormous Greenlandian glacier, a frozen lake, pure ice, with wisps of snow that blew gently across its surface. Massive and mystical, it felt like you were walking onto the set of an animated Disney movie. It was immense to look at, stretched out and speckled in shades of dark and light, silky, and untouched by bus or man. A frozen Goliath. Our job on those nights was to post advertisements, signs, on the sides of the buses. Two 10-foot by 3-foot banners, made of thick commercial vinyl, put together end to end, completed one sign. The sign stuck to the buses and so the sticker had to be peeled off its back. So for every completed sign there were two leftover pieces of plastic to dispose of. Usually we'd have about 25 or so to put up. I learned early on doing this job that if you crumbled each leftover piece of plastic into a ball, it quickly led to an unmanageable situation. You ended up with a giant 20-foot round ball of plastic that you had to hulk into a giant dumpster at the end of the night. What we did eventually learn was to roll the pieces of plastic up into tightly wound wands. These wands could be placed easily inside of each other, as they'd unravel right back into the same box they came out of. Neat and efficient. We also learned that if you held the wand like a sword, after rolling it up into a baseball bat, and then casting it out like a fishing pole, the inside of the roll would extend, like a Chinese yo-yo, almost 4 feet. Like a lightsaber, the commercial plastic backing creating an almost impenetrable batana sword, light and powerful. On those nights we knew that after the work was done, and the clock edged its way into the early morning hours, we would take the stage. It would be late January, about -5 degrees with the wind chill factor, so you had to have your face covered, all of your skin, so we'd both wear dark ski masks, with wool hats on top of that, and then the hoods of our coats on top of that, and tied down tightly, so all you could see were the whites of her eyes. After that it was layers, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, long johns and sweatpants, with double socks, so that it was thick to move, and walking felt monumentos. Sam and I would start to craft our weapons early in the night, rolling the plastic tight, releasing the tension, and then rolling it up again even tighter. I would wear mine through my belt buckle, a makeshift holster, letting the tension release enough so that it stuck there, and so that Sam could see it. And Sammy, he liked to roll his tight, and tap it loudly against the side of the bus when I wasn't expecting it. Whoppin' it would make me jump. His sinister laugh, ah, 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 would fill the night air and bounce off of the ice so that it sounded hollow and theatrical. And I'd crack up laughing, but we couldn't wait. And as the last sign would be finishing up, and we were tired, and dirty, we'd start to think of facilitating our cleanup so the battle could begin. "You ready, J-Bone?" Sam would ask, as he'd start to pant like a bull. Huff, huff huff. From 10 paces away we would start to slowly shuffle towards each other to meet at the center of the glacier, skating our boot tops across the surface of the ice, our bundled bodies casting grimacing large shadows in front of us. Under the white light of the massive moon, the ice reflected back, and we, dark bulky figures, alone and silent, enjoyed the spotlight, as we crashed our swords, skating across the frozen wasteland under the moonlight like two ancient Nordic warriors. We would smash our swords together and try to catch each other, to whip the other guy with hard shots to the shoulder blades, and the less cushion back of the knee area. Our goal was to kill, a fight to the death, and we reveled in the sheer horror and ecstasy of it all. And we would laugh. Sometimes the battle ended when we were both too tired to swing another strike, and we'd collapse onto that hard white frozen silk. Other times our laughter would take us over, and the fight would become impossible to maintain as we'd clench our bellies uncontrollably. Sometimes there was an injury here, or there, but I really don't remember any being significant. Sometimes, the battle ended because one of the guy's swords would bend in half, and then it would be weakened, until it could barely stand on its own, and you'd have to kneel and surrender. I wouldn't want to do that work anymore. It's hard, laborious, and dirty, and the hours suck. But I always think about that ice, and those battles. We were in our early 30s, and the weight of the world, and its responsibilities, were starting to kick our asses. But on those nights, at the bus yard, we kicked each other's asses, on giant glaciers, with plastic swords. Sometimes I want to call Sam and talk about it, ask him if it really happened, how many times it was, and was it like I remembered it. Other times, I close my eyes and imagine pulling into those woods, smelling the exhaust, bouncing up and down across the cratered earth, and knowing that after the work was done, we would have a chance, a moment, to live.